Hi everyone, SoulSilver17 here. Let me first, like usual, I did not own the picture, made the thumbnail, and does not pay video. So yeah, kind of a weird night for me. I was tired at 3 o'clock in the morning. My weekends I usually stay up all night anyways, but I was tired at 3 o'clock, and I fell asleep. Woke up at 5 something. Did whatever I had to do because I was up, and then just tried to go back to sleep, and I couldn't. So, I ended up being up and I decided to make a video. It's currently 7, almost 8 o'clock now. Well, Pacific time is 7:48. So yeah. So anyways, hope you guys have a nice day. I'm going to be trying making 2 videos today, maybe 3 or 4, depending. Maybe one new one and kind of explain one new what if that I came up with an idea of, which is kind of a weird one, but also kind of interesting. But anyways, yeah. So, I'm back to this one. I should really go back to Gaster Sans Naruto, but I kind of been trying to watch that, but at the same time, I have troubles watching my own videos from time to time because I get distracted. And, yeah. But anyways, so yeah, so I kind of just watched like at least part 4 and kind of understand and remember where I kind of went with. Seal I got because of Orochimaru, put me between almost life and death situation, but changed into the fairy tale symbol and got constantly able to gather up natural energy and be able to, well, use the natural energy as a sort of way so I can basically use Dragon Slayer magic, or, well, a copy version of it. So, yeah, there's that, and also, basically, amongst other things. So, yep. Anyways, we're just gonna get this part started. This one, my original idea, I kind of basically for this whole entire series was just going through Naruto, but I did not realize that technically speaking, because I made Hagoromo basically teleport my consciousness from basically our dimension into theirs would require the whole entire reality warping, for space and time, and that could lead to some problems. And I'm like, wow. I mean, at least this way, then I can basically add on more to the world and just have to fight monsters of basically just Naruto universe that, I can. And I kind of decided to kind of go down that route a bit, which it's not going to happen much, but there's only the reason why this is happening, because, one, I'm technically starting bringing some, godlike figures into the Naruto universe in my what ifs recently, and I'm most likely gonna be doing that for not that many more videos, but only probably for a couple more, because I do kind of see if it's needed, it's needed. If it's not, it's not. And technically speaking, I did not see it in this series at the time, but technically it's only needed just for one video, one part of basically the series, and then after that, they could just be every so often appearing. All right, so yeah, just want to mention that real quick. But anyways, let's get this thing started. So where we're starting off is, well, Hagoromo, Sage of Six Paths, is currently watching from his area where he is in his afterlife, where his chakra is still around the world. He saw everything. He's basically watching what I've done, and he basically will be mildly impressed. He goes, I'm actually kind of impressed with what he's done. He's still keeping up with whatever timeline he knows of, but also changed some events. Hopefully, this doesn't affect much of. As then all of a sudden he hears a, as he looks up, he kind of realizes he's in the realm of the gods. And he's like thinking to himself, "Oh, um, I am screwed." As he basically sees Shimigami, Yami, and basically Kami and Kami basically just look at him. As Kami would basically says, "Hagurama otosuki. I have been neglecting my basically watching over the world due to the paperwork that I've had. And I recently remembered about the Shaokun Jutsu that basically Tobarama Senju made. After Redhead Uzumaki told me about it, so I basically was able to get to the paperwork that I had to done, should I say at the time, work on, about one Uzumaki Naruto soul that was brought to the afterlife, while his body's still alive. So I looked into it, and found out what happened. Roughly speaking, he kind of saved, the whole entire ninja world, but also bringing an unknown person into our world. Whereas the Shimigami would say, and a new soul that I cannot get because of the seal. So breaking the contract, in a sense, with Minato Namikaze, but truly not, truly at exactly the same time, not really. As then Yami says, and because due to our world's nature, you also grant him the basic ability to use no hand signs for, chakra, be able to allow him to basically use any jutsus he wants, along with his basically knowledge of fighting styles that we basically saw you gave him that all he knew. Which in turn he can learn how to do fighting styles in this world and incorporate them to it, along with weapons. As then Hagurama just says, I couldn't send him back. The jutsu can only send him back after he dies here. Which, Kami would say, we know that. But, because of these certain events, you have derailed the whole entire future of Naruto Uzumaki, Namikaze. In a sense, the Child of Prophecy is technically not anymore in the world, but still is. Due to him technically basically taking over Naruto's life. Which Hagurama basically just sighs and goes, I know. But I'm actually very surprised he's treating my son Kurama the way he is. In which Shimigami says, yes, luckily you chose someone that actually has self-worth to basically care for others than himself. Surprisingly enough for humans. And Yami would agree. As he basically would say, it was at random. He would, Hagurama would admit. And Kami says, we know. And so, basically, Kami just says, but that's not the worst part. Your jutsu basically ripped a hole through time, space, and our dimension altogether. Basically, you did not know the consequences, which we, at the time, was wondering why we had said paperwork, especially for Yami and Shimigami, about some things about some souls going into the world that weren't supposed to be there no more, along with, basically, how should I say this? Oh yeah, some monsters are basically disappearing from the underworld. Well, not underworld, but actually no, it should be, underworld. For now, underworld. Which Hagurama's eyes widen. He goes, oh no. And basically Yami says, and that's not the worst part. Basically, we had to put them into specific areas for humans not to get, basically, killed by. And anytime, basically, they will die and basically come back to into the realm that they're supposed to be, they will still be able to go into that dungeon we made. Kind of what that we basically view through, basically, the boy's memories, along with Kurama, because Kurama was interested in some anime called, Shimigami says, Rise of the Shield Hero. Yes, Rise of the Shield Hero. Just because of the RPG mechanics that we found out about it. And Cammy goes, yes, very interesting for basing mortals of another, dimension to make that. Which we actually kind of see basically the reason why we had to make dungeons. And make them specifically for certain type of monsters and their levels. But the spirits, that's another story. They can take human form, but they can't be truly, killed, and we have to basically put them into a special type of dungeon. And so, because of this, we are tasking with you to figure out who can basically deal with these problems, because if the dungeon gets overfilled, we basically have an extremely, very difficult time on our hands, as basically three beings look at Hagoromo, as Hagoromo sweating. As he basically tries to think, he goes, the bully! Well, man. I mean, the man named Soul. Which basically Cammy and Shimigami and Yami says, boy now. Well, boy, I mean. Soul could, help us. Which basically, Shimigami goes, help you. Which he goes, yes. Kind of basically chuckling nervously. He goes like, I am so dead if I don't basically try to appease them. And Cammy goes, explain. He goes, well, as you said, he knows of RPGs, which I don't really know much about them, but from basically fighting styles, he basically had in his mind there were some RPGs that had it. So, I could have him basically help deal with these monsters and preventing certain monsters from existing in the world and send them back to, the underworld. Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm going to actually double check to see if I'm actually getting that right about the Japanese version of, Okay, so I tried to look, I could not find it. So, Underworld. The Japanese version of Underworld. I think, I didn't type that in, I just said, try to be very specific. But it's most, if I remember correctly, it's the Underworld. So, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you guys know anything about it, but I'm very bad at searching for information. That's why I don't do it search much, and when I do it, I basically do pause the videos because of, I know it's going to take me time, and and all other things besides just need to go find it. But anyways, so yeah. So, as I was saying, so basically, Hagoromo basically says about what I could do, as basically all the gods would agree. It was, and how per se are we going to, help him to get this leveling system? Because it seems like he's going to need it. Which Hagoromo was like, what are you asking me? Basically, Lord, and basically Lady, as, he has to basically bow when saying that, which Cammy would just say, oh, simple. Because at the moment, I basically want to hear your opinion. Which, I guess you don't have any. Shimigami, Yami, any thoughts? As Shimigami would think, goes, well, since we have learned about the multiverse due to this action, as Yami would agree, maybe we can basically call upon one of a great being to, at least, to make a catalyst for him to get this system. In which Yami goes, really? A catalyst? Why can we just not make it? Which Yami would say. Shimigami would just point out, we do not know basically the specifics on how it is even done. Basically, our world does not basically have something like that. If we basically just made a random system out of nowhere, there'll be flaws. At least this way, we could find something to be a catalyst, and if it does not, well, been born in that world, we could still basically ask it while it's basically being transferred here by some other deity of the multiverse that basically has a system out there that basically could at least help us in this time of need. And so basically Cammy's thinking about it, and before anything can happen, a bright light appears. As basically, Shimigami just gets out basically a weapon. Cammy just basically staring out there with interest, and Yami is too. In which basically Hagoromo basically gets out there about to basically, and make like not using his ninjutsu, but takes a true secret orb and makes basically a weapon out of it. As what appears is basically, a big giant wolf. As basically looking down, it's looking at basically the three beings that are in their seats while it looks down at Hagoromo, as basically the being says, I was sent here due to basically the fact of, you recently learned about the multiverse, and it seems you have a problem due to someone's actions. And they're looking down at basically Hagoromo, as Shinigami goes, who or what are you, besides being a wolf? Which this being with chuckle goes, I am, basically, you could say basically I'm a being that could basically kill a god, or a godlike being. As they basically blinking, as everyone's just like, what? Wait, hold up. Okay, as I was saying, this wolf is saying, I am Fenrir. A different pantheon, but I basically fulfilled my role and basically I succumbed to my injuries and died. I, in turn, basically was called upon by other beings. They basically told of the situation of your world, that another person from another dimension in itself came here due to the man Hagoromo Otosuki's attempt of just making a jutsu out of boredom and curiosity. As basically he looks at Hagoromo. As Hagoromo looks away, embarrassed and a little bit nervous. As Cammy, basically will say, so, you are here to help us? As he goes, yes, Cammy or Kami. Whatever you want to be preferred in your basically current form. As basically, Cammy/Kami will smirk, and he goes, interesting. Well, since you know of this, tell me, what is it basically you are here for, specifically, besides, helping us? Since there's another motive. In which Fenrir was sighing and says, yes, there's currently a council of people that are watching the same person, which they just all blink. They're like, what? He goes, yes. He's currently in another dimension that evolves around a dungeon and has a system of leveling. Though not exactly the same way that basically the fox Kurama mentioned. Or was watching of the said anime. I have no idea what that is. In which basically Shinigami says, understandable, I understand that. And you looked annoyed as much as I did when I saw it. Which Fenrir would nod. So, basically Yami says, so, these beings, these other, gods and goddesses from out the multiverse, they basically have basically a piece of themselves. watching, and a lot of evil gods basically also are there too. They are currently making the boys, well, young man's life difficult. The evil gods are. While the gods are watching. One of the gods, well, not really the gods, more like a goddesses, are trying to basically entertainment purposes watching him and other means that some gods know. They somewhat summoned me and told me of a situation that a a counterpart to basically, we can say you, Kami, is that you were not summoned to that because that was part of not the original world. So, which Yami would say, so basically we're just basically a parallel world from the actual original, huh? Which Fenrir goes, you're taking that quite well then, I believe. Which Kami was like, not really. Actually, kind of makes sense since nothing's followed the canon. It's like this was fated to happen, I guess. Which Fenrir will just nod. He goes, yes, your original selves basically wanted me to come here, and they gave me the knowledge of the systems that he knows of. And I am technically a byproduct, you can say, of that creation. I will basically turn into a mental best suited for him. And basically then I will not possess, but grant him this leveling system. And then he'd be able to do your task of getting rid of basically setting yokais, demons, well, anything really. And, well, the other basically terms of said monsters that you have in this dimension. And where Shimigami goes, well, at least that will help until we can fix closing up the portals. Well, thank you. And thank you, other versions of us. That's one less paperwork we have. Which Fenrir just smirks. Goes, oh, I believe this boy's going to cause you a lot of paperwork. Which they all just look, even Haguro was like, huh? Look at his face. He goes, quite frankly, the boy basically that's being watched by all the gods and from all different dimensions are currently impressed by the reactions he has done. He's currently basically a counterforce to a skeleton wizard that's supposed to basically cause mayhem in the world, and yet he's the counterforce to him, so he has all the knowledge and abilities that he will get from that world. Well, not from that world, specifically from the worlds that he knows of. Or powers that he knows of. I did not understand it completely, but in true, that includes the leveling systems. So, they are all impressed because of what he has done with the limited skills that he has. Or, well, that he is gaining. You should be very happy he's on the side of good and not causing basically destruction. Which, basically, Kami and Yami saying, it can't be that bad. As Fenrir says, I thought you would say that. Well, you yourselves did. And basically, they proceed to show what I've done in my... Oh, what if I was an overlord? As they said, they paled. He goes... And basically, Haguro was like, so yes, you granted basically a person of that caliber, even though he's limited. For now, at least. Because I believe he has plans to increase his potential further in this world. Especially now with my help and the gods' help. Which Yami, Shinigami are looking at Haguro and goes like, can you really think who it is, please? And basically Haguro says, I have not asked my son, the reincarnation of my son Indra to do this. And basically Finn goes, oh yes, about the Ashura's, basically even though Naruto Uzumaki is the reincarnation of him. Is the soul still a part of basically said soul? Well, person's soul. Which, basically they're like, well, Shimgo was like, yes, since he didn't die, basically, quickly enough, the soul of Hashira is still there, killing the chakra. Why? He goes, good. Then he is truly a very unmatched potential. I was told by one said goddess to not underestimate him. I did not know why until basically what I saw, what I showed you. But with this world's version, I still say he has somewhat potential. I don't really know. So yeah. So, basically after that, by the way, I do have to go back and sound my, like part 3, 1, and 2, well, part 1, 2, and 3 videos, but I'm kind of just concluding what I basically saw, like, remember from certain parts of it, and because I'm trying to remember if I basically took this up as a sword. I did not basically mention it in part 4, so I don't think I did, but I'm going to double check, so I'm going to go back in the past, and we'll go later today and watch it. So yeah, hopefully, I didn't, because then this gives me a good opportunity to go back to Wave Country and go get it. If I want to. But anyways, that's going. Which Kami just sighs and be like, okay. So, the dungeons we made to hold them, he's going to be able to go to them, right? He goes, yes, but he's going to have to find them, which you are going to have to help. In which they sigh, like, we don't want to interfere with mortals' lives, but alright, we're going to have to for this one. Why, of all people? Why him, Yami will say. It was quite simple. If you don't, he'll find out about it, and he may want to try to come after you gods for not giving him the aid to basically find these dungeons before innocent people's lives died, and I believe he basically would find a way how to come to the realm of the gods, just to basically, in his own words, beat some god's butt, and basically shove whatever that they have arrogance right basically down their throat. Or just straight up kill you. I've heard of killing. As Raymond will say. As they just all just sigh. As then basically Yami would just look at Shimgami would look at, Kami slash Kami. As basically Kami slash Kami will look at both of them and just nod. He goes, "We approve of this. So tell us what system he's going to get." As we go, basically, back to where I am I woke up and did the tuning exams, and, well, I'm, basically, basically eating as Kurama as Kit, Soul, well, Naruto, I mean. And we go, yes, Kurama? He goes, look, I've been going through, basically, the animes list that you've watched, okay? He goes, okay. And he goes, I want to make a suggestion that we need to try to make. He goes, yeah, what is it? A leveling system. We need to try and make a leveling system. Which I just basically was in mid-eat, about to basically eat my food. I'm like, a leveling system. As Yugao and Yamato, and Tenzo, are just looking at me. Because because they know I'm talking to the fox. Yes, we need a leveling system. It's OP. We can become even stronger. Especially the ones of the leveling system that you know of. I'm actually quite impressed that of your world's creativity and video games. Which basically I would say, hey, I told you, I gave you basically anime, not go from my memories. It was, I only look for the RPG, section of it, and the games list of it. It was, those are overpowered. We don't need that in this world. It's not like I'm going to need it. As Yugao say, Naruto? I'm like, yeah, Yugao? He goes, what's wrong? He goes, just the furball. Basically saying, I need to have a leveling system. Tenzo's like, what's that? He goes, oh, a way for me to increase in my abilities, strengths, and powers, and also skills, while basically I fight off monsters and gain experience points that allow me to basically progress to the next level. And each level I get, the more stronger I get, and I can potentially, depends on which level and system, I could basically fight gods, become a god, destroy the world, or in general, like, become a hero. And basically have the mass power to basically split a mountain into two. Or destroy a whole entire, basically, village, like Konoha. Or Kiri. I just say it with a casual tone, as they just both just gaping in shock. As I'm like, yeah, my world's, my world's creativity on that stuff is really amazing, huh? They just, as Yugo says, yes, and just I'm like, yeah, I don't understand. I don't want to have that because I'll become too overpowered way too quickly. As before anything can say, Kurama will say, "We need it. Come on, Kit. We need to basically become overpowered. You are basically strong, but you have not mastered the jutsus you made. Even though basically you can make it basically out of nowhere, you only use certain jutsus once, and this way basically you have a list of them then. So please, let's try and make a leveling system." Like, as I literally say, Kurama, we can't make one. First off, we don't have an object that would give us it. 2, we don't have a being that will give us a leveling system. And 3, there will be like a catalyst or an object or whatever, both of the options that I basically mentioned that would give us a leveling system. We don't have both of those, and whatever else, basically, this ain't an RPG. So, no, we are not able to make a basic level system with creation of all things. Besides, I don't even have all of your chakra, I believe, if I think. Well, I think I do, actually. Still trying to wake up. Whatever, it doesn't matter now. There's Kurama is just grumbling about stupid human kid. Doesn't want to make a leveling system and become even more powerful. I just sigh, like, I'm dealing with a freaking 1,000-year-old kitsune fox that's just a chakra entity, and it's pouting and grumbling grumbling just because he doesn't get a new toy. What's the world coming to? Next thing you know, I'm going to basically have to fight basically monsters in dungeons and actually go on a basically adventure that the Hokage can't stop me. And right on cue, Hagoromo appears. And basically I just like, old man Gigi? Wow, I basically let the Naruto moment happen there, huh? Wait, yeah, huh? As Hagoromo actually just chuckles at that, he goes, "It seems basically you have adapted basically to your situations and surroundings, and also basically your position as Naruto quite well." Which Tenzo and Yugao basically get into a fighting stance and ask, "Who is he?" And Tenzo, Yugao, Hagoromo, Otosuki, Tenzo, Yugao. As they basically just shocked a bit, and basically goes, as Tenzo asks, Soul, Naruto, whatever, goes, Naruto, who is he? As I said, Hagoromo Otosuki, but you've talked about a specific title, Sage of Six Paths. As they just in shock, as Tenzo basically about to say something, as Hagoromo says, does not matter, basically, Tenzo. You are fine, and you too, Yugao. You did not know. Soul, I have a great importance and apologies for you. As basically he bows his head, while having his hands on his knees, basically, because he's still floating. I'm like, huh? Why? Because I messed something up. Which I'm like, what did you do now? Besides putting me in this body? Like, he was, well, Uh, I may have basically brought beings from our underworld in this dimension into the real, into basically the living world. I'm like, so like zombies? No. Yokais and other such creatures. Yokais is basically the best thing, and demons. As I'm like, hold up. Yokais, demons, and other basically names that I know basically they have for other supernatural creatures, but I don't know them that well besides yokais. He goes, yes, they are in the living world now. I'm like, okay. So what? Now basically the gods are saying I'm gonna have to basically fight them, and he goes, yes. Okay. Okay. So a lot of things are changing now due to basically me being here, huh? Yes. I did not know. I am truly sorry for this. I'm like, so this went up from basically 0 to 100 real quick for me now, huh? What type of crappy story writing is this? It seems like someone just basically forgot basically whether we're going to go with the original story plot. Just decided to say, hey, why not add something else to it? Just to make it way more interesting and fun and, well, just in general. Just because I basically want to basically try to keep my interest in it. Wow, sounds like something I would do. Probably as me. As Yugao and basically Tenzo are just in confusion. He goes, I wrote stories. Well, not wrote stories. I made videos of stories, and I would time to time basically add way more elements than I should into the story to keep it interesting, and people would watch those videos, and I wanted to, keep going with my escalating stuff further. And it sounds like something I would do just because I want to, make it where I would basically have to, or have the character basically become stronger over time to keep myself balanced, and kind of realize I made them a little bit too OP, so I'm going to try to counter it by making way more stuff happening and making more convoluted stuff happen. Sometimes I'm a crappy story writer or storyteller. Either way, sounds like something I would do. As Huggerl actually just chuckles at my outburst and acknowledgement, and basically just acknowledged me saying those, yes, from what I basically saw from some of your, memories. When I basically gave you basically the final songs of you knew, I had a tendency to see them. It was quite interesting that you had some events happen differently and changing some things. Yeah. Alright. Well, so, I have to go fight these monsters, gotta save the world, and basically gotta fight a goddess. Great. What could possibly go wrong besides me dying? As basically Hagon goes, well, you're not gonna die per se. As I'm like, yeah, I'll become strong because I'll have to fight other creatures of supernatural origins. And basically, I also have to fight spirits too, right? He goes, yes. He goes, yeah. So, in a sense, I'm basically am totally and utterly screwed because I don't have the one thing Karama was telling me I need. As I hear a voice suddenly says, or do you now? As I'm like, huh? And then all of a sudden, like, the basically window opens up, and the wind basically starts to basically flow into the kitchen area, as then the wind's basically forming into a wolf-like creature. Well, technically a wolf creature, but bigger than the average wolf. As I'm like, and who are you? Because this is just a great day, because I have to verse against Ninja Hyuga. So, and I may be a little bit late because of this. Which, basically wolf wind creature elemental will say, which then, before he actually ever said anything. I'm like, wait, elemental? You're an actual wolf elemental? He goes, yes. He goes, okay. Okay, yeah, we clearly decided to bring fantasy stuff into this now, huh? Okay. Okay. Sorry, just a little bit kind of pissed off at this at the moment. Or freaking out. Don't know which. Which basically was understandable by wind chakra nature itself. He goes, okay, makes more sense. Which basically goes, which, can I continue who I am now? He goes, proceed, please. As basically the wolf takes, well, just a quick, basically look at basically each person. He goes, I am Fenrir, and I am, well, am basically supposed to help you in what your furry companion in your gut said. Which basically, like, your crow goes, leveling system! Which I'm like, oh, get it, furball. In which Crow was actually you laughing. I'm like, so you're gonna give me a leveling system? He goes, yes, I am, well, the catalyst for it. I am the reason why you'll be having it. So possession, in a sense. Coexistence, Fenrir will say. Since basically you have wind chakra nature as your main affinity, is the highest, I will increase that to godly levels. But you will have basically certain things that are different from a normal level system. Which I'm like, okay, tell me. So I basically sit back down and finish up my food while looking at Fenrir. Goes, oh, we were basically disturbing you during lunch. Breakfast. Whatever, I'm not gonna basically be mad at you eating. I should. I would. But anyways, I was given the ability to talk by said other beings that you do not need to know of. And, well, they basically told me of certain leveling systems that you know of, such as Rise of the Shield Hero, Solo Leveling, Demon Lord Retry, I believe. Yeah. And there's Overlord, but doesn't really show much of leveling, so true. Final Fantasy. By the way, I own none of the anime names or basically games. I'm just mentioning them. RPGs that I know. Alright. And many more RPGs. It was, yeah. The point? Simple. You are going to get a few of those aspects basically into basically the system you have. Such as, basically, you get points for killing creatures and you'll be able to buy, basically, certain things. So instead of, it's like money. He goes, yes, but then you also increase your ability points, too. So like solo leveling. Yes. He goes, okay. Fine. Let's get this thing over with. I gotta go basically defeat a Hyuga, basically, but show him fate has nothing on me, and his basically whole entire basically fate basically bullshit is, not even true. Which Fenrir smirks. He goes, well, it'll basically take a day or two to basically take full effect. He goes, okay. So I'll start this when I basically am gonna go get Tsunade, huh? Yes. I'm like, great. This is gonna be fun. Then I look at Fenrir, I'm like, so how are we gonna do this? You just, as all of a sudden Fenrir, basically turns into back to wind chakras, and basically it's just the wind's flowing around me, and then seeps into basically my chakra, basically tenketsus, and becomes a part of it. As basically a screen pops up, he goes, welcome, player, soul. Level 1. Basically, job title, ninja. Basically, stat points. Basically question mark, question mark. And question marks on basically strength, agility, basically kind of going down the solo leveling route on that stuff, but, you know, just, well, not basically showing anything because it's not there. So I'm like, huh, okay, so there's a status. Inventory then, as an inventory pops up. As I'm like, and basically I go like, shop? Basically what pops up would be more like ability, stats, and basically shop. And like, huh, 2 tabs as I pushed the ability tab because it was on the shop tab, and like, huh, so these are all the abilities I have. Chakra control. Well, my chakra control is going to be crappy. Hold up. As I basically kind of look on the exclamation mark. Chakra control does not reduce due to basically being level 1 of basically the chakra control you already had. And any other jutsus you have at the moment basically does not matter because they have been already cataloged in here. And since you have knowledge of all jutsus and you're creating your own ones, you do not have to basically worry about it. Because you technically have the chakra to do any of the jutsus. Yada yada yada. Okay, and that'll just basically also increase my affinities with each one then too, huh? They're all level 1s. Well, telling my 1 chakra nature is actually maxed out. But that's kind of good. And okay, let's see this other exclamation mark. Any jutsus that I've made with this basically lightning affinity, with said nature of lightning affinity, will not basically power or speed or whatever it has will be reduced due to basically being at level 1. Level 1 is just showing basically where it's at due to basically my potential that I basically had to work with, which I haven't done, which I may or may not have done much work with it. Only basically Pacific, basically nature chakra would basically be at the highest due to basically certain basically events. As basically then it goes down to the wind chakra nature, and basically it says, on the exclamation mark, it says, due to Fenrir becoming a wind elemental chakra, basically the stat has been boosted all the way to level 12 with any wind chakra nature or any wind jutsus or basically abilities that I basically will have or know of will be increased 100-fold or 10-fold. Depends on how much chakra and basically the strength of the technique. Like, well, shot then. So with ability points or scores that I get, that basically I can basically buy stuff now too. As I basically don't really have any at the moment, but I just see basically a couple like supply gears, like tent, med kits, a potion, weapons, kunais and shurikens, bow and arrows. And I'm like, neat. So weapons and new clothing. Cool. And ramen. There's ramen there. As I'm looking at the food items, they're like, ramen. Pacific eaten by Naruto Uzumaki, but due to the fact that the player's soul is possessing basically the body of Naruto Uzumaki, he does not enjoy ramen that much. But still, the ramen has been modified to basically where it work with his taste buds. Oh man, that actually kind of works now. I can basically just eat this. As basically I see like other foods were there, and even just ingredients and basically like other items like kitchen knives, pots and pans, all that stuff. But I do go back into abilities, and it does basically show my actual stats. Basically for like strength and agility and all that stuff. Basically even help basically with like flexibility or basically brain processing. So I'm like, wow, these abilities really do basically help out a lot then. Including with the jutsus I have. Alright. So, as I basically close it out, I'm like, well, since that's all done with, I'm gonna get going. Thank you, Hagoromo, and is there anything else I need to know? He goes, yes, the gods are gonna help in you. Enjoy to know that. So, I'm like, will do. Anyways, bye Tenzo, bye Yugao. I gotta get going. I'm late. I was not gonna use Godspeed, but now I am. As I put my plate away in the sink, and then basically I proceed to walk out of the house after I get my shinobi. Well, if I remember correctly, I think I basically will have shinobi sandals. But in this case, I basically put on boots because I know the invasion are gonna come on. Well, basically it's gonna happen. So yeah, as Tenzo and Yugao just looking at him, Hagoromo goes, I know, the gods were not gonna do anything, but since my screw up and my mistake, I put our world in danger. As Tenzo says, I am going to report this to the Hokage, because he needs to know this. But, when will he basically start this? And what type of monsters are out there in the world? He goes, oh no, they're in dungeons. And those are basically around the elemental nations. They basically they will be there, and the gods will help him get to basically said dungeons that will need to be cleared out immediately. Because certain creatures will basically be going there. As Yugao will just sigh, like, the most unpredictable ninja that basically he has become, it still gets unpredictable. Huh. Tenzo. Which he just sighs, like, don't remind me, Yugao. Even though he ain't Naruto, it seems like he basically revolves around chaos. What's next? There's another version of him out there that basically causing more chaos in another world? Which Hagoromo goes, yes. Yes it is. Yes they are. As he just disappears. As Yugao goes, you just had to say that, did you? He goes, I didn't know that was true. So, back to when I basically, left the house out and basically, onto the street. I just sigh and just say, I don't need to meet Akuma. What was his? I'm trying to remember now. Not Akamaru. Konohamaru. I don't have to meet Konohamaru since I know where it is. As basically right on cue, Konohamaru appears. He goes, hey boss! I'm like, Konohamaru? He smiles, goes, so, why are you not at basically the arena? I'm like, oh, some stuff happened and my people that were living with me basically wanted to make sure I had everything. He goes, oh, really? He goes, yeah, I'm just about to head out. He goes, cool, can I come with? I'm like, you have to go to school. Well, back to the Shinobi Academy. They're going to be watching. He goes, oh, come on. He goes, no, go back to class and stop basically trying to ditch it. He goes, you changed. He goes, hey, after I basically win the whole entire thing, I'll try to teach you a jutsu. More chakra control exercise. How about that? Which basically, I smirk. He goes, which basically Konohamaru was like, wait, really? He goes, yeah. So, just get back to class and basically be good. I'll ask Aruka Sensei about it later. He goes, alright, boss. And then he runs off. I'm like, good kid. Surely come up with some jutsus with hand signs when I need to teach my students. And I can convert basically to hand signs for the jutsus I recently made, and I already have the knowledge of them. As Kurama's been quiet, I'm like, Kurama, what are you doing? He was like, I'm trying to see what else basically you can do. Ooh, good thing. This looks like if you get a weapon specifically, if you get like some materials, you can turn that weapon to a specific weapon of yours. Like, I would just say, like the shield. He goes, huh? He goes, yeah, I'm looking through basically some of the conditions that you have for your level and system that I was told by Fenrir to read. Since you'll just skip right through it. I'm like, fair enough. So if I get a specific weapon, I can turn that specific weapon I like into something like Rise of the Shield Hero Shield. He goes, yeah, certain materials you'll be able to turn the weapons into. Said monster parts, get more different swords, or you could basically get the certain type of sword or basically, and do what basically the shield hero did by basically saving the shield, I guess, look. And it basically would look like that shield with the exact same defense and stats to it. I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of awesome. Maybe I should go back and get basically the executioner sword. You know, it would be heavy. I should probably put some seals on me and get it, but whatever. Time to go defeat basically Neji Hyuga and keep a promise that I was keeping to, and not stalker basically truly loves me, huh? Which Kurama's like, Kit, get a girlfriend. Later in the future, at least. Look, find some options. Heck, even go after with the older Konoichi if you want to. I'm like, Kurama, not now. I'm fine. Basically, before I even activated Godspeed, he goes, oh, by the way, there's only one class you're going to be getting as a subclass. I'm like, let me guess, Kitsune? As I say, well, Chuck goes, yes. As I basically stop before I even activate Godspeed, I just sigh. And then Kurama, I basically hear Kurama with a smirk in his voice. I'm like, Kurama? He goes, why are you laughing? He goes, oh, because this way I can actually say you're my kit. I'm like, I am not your kid. I'm not your child. He goes, you are now. I officially say you are my child and my legacy. As I just saw him, like, I made you into much of a weeb, didn't I? I should really put basically a timeout on basically the TV when you can watch anime. Which I hear Kurama was like, no, please, don't. I like watching it. It's not boring. I'm not bored. I'm like, I basically say, wow, I kind of feel bad now. Fine, I won't take away your privileges of watching anime. Which he sighs in relief. And I won't limit it either, which he basically, doesn't say nothing, but for some reason I can tell he's happy. He goes, just never basically act like you're my father and never say you're adopting me. I'm a different nine-tailed than you, okay? Which he goes, fine, for my fun. Godspeed. As I say that, and I just run off basically to, well, the arena. I also go roof hopping. So, while basically I'm on my way there, Mr. Jiraiya is waiting basically at said entrance to the for the fighters. As he basically see blue lightning basically appearing around me. As basically I kind of just make the basically blue lightning now red. As I said, kind of basically went a little bit when I went faster, basically a little bit more faster. As I said, I appear, I'm like, yo, am I late? He goes, no, you almost are late, but the Uchiha ain't there. What took you? He goes, some stuff happened. But there's some things that basically you need to know. He goes, like what? He goes, monsters from the underworld, we can say, like yokais, spirits, demons, are basically in the world now. Which basically this makes Jiraiya's eyes widen. He goes, and they're in something called dungeons. He goes, which then he goes like, okay. And what does that particularly meant for you? He goes, I had to take them on. And which Jiraiya sighs. He goes, so let me guess. You basically are 2 to 3 year time skip that you constantly say. May have to basically incorporate this too. He goes, yeah, pretty much. He goes, I see. Alright. By the way, the seals that I basically had you basically train with. Because, I think I remember basically the weight and gravity seals. He goes, yeah. Basically, he basically does, he basically used to say, it was, we'll be using those and we're going to basically increase those basically by a lot. Then, like, Uh, Alright, I'll explain more about basically my system that I got, though, from the gods later. Alright? He goes, what's your eye just blank? He goes, he didn't mention about that. He goes, yeah, just need to go defeat Hyuga. I'll be seeing ya. Which then he hears me grumbling saying I have to do more work than I need to. Why is the world in more danger now? Stupid Sage of Six Paths teleport me into this dimension. Which basically I couldn't help actually have a chuckle. He goes, he acts like Naruto, and he's not. Ugh. This world's gonna get way more interesting now because of him. As then he teleports basically to where I'll say Horizon is. That's basically we go back to me as when I entered the arena, I would see basically the people that are basically in there for the fight, same in the canon, and as basically Shikamaru was saying, huh, you almost were late. I'm like, yeah, some stuff happened. So, I missed anything interesting? Which Shikamaru goes, I would say it would be too troublesome to tell you, but it seems like Ino and Sakura basically became friends again. Which I actually just chuckle. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to help her basically get even more stronger now. It's gonna be a pain. Which Shikamaru was like, look at me basically weirdly, because he knows I'm about to say something. He'd be like, what were you about to say? I'm like, just say your catchphrase, or your family's catchphrase. Which he's like, you wouldn't dare. Which I'm just shrugging like, don't tempt me. I would. I have a smirk at him. And he just sighs, he goes, troublesome blonde. As then Tamari heard that, she gets basically a vein on her basically forehead and a tip mark basically. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, ooh, Shika. Should never say that about your wife. Or me. So, as the proctor, the basically third exam would, say everything that isn't canon and such, Ino and Sakura are basically chatting. As Ino is saying, so Sakura, who do you think is going to win? Neji or Naruto? Yeah, not Naruto, I mean. And Sakura would say, well, if you asked me a couple months ago, I would have said Naruto was going to lose, but he's different. He doesn't like me no more, but he's willing to help me. He still maybe even has some lingering feelings for me. Which, kind of basically gets a little bit worried for her. He goes, is everything alright? He goes, yeah, it's just a lot of things are changing. Naruto's getting stronger day by day, especially with what he can do with no hand signs. And now he seems different even more, due to whatever seal that gave him the ability to use, fire. Which Ino nods, he goes, yeah, I know. Seems like Naruto ain't really Naruto. I hear he doesn't eat ramen that much. But he still pays, the Ichirakus a lot of money. Like, he ate basically the amount he always did. In which, basically, Sakura would just be shocked and just nod. As, said people were saying, yeah, we know. We're actually kind of worried about him, but he just says he needed to try to go stronger and such. There's something that he's not telling us, but, we don't want to basically ask him and basically be persistent about it. As and Sakura will look and see Ayame and Tucci. As Tucci says, yes, but our business has still been going since Naruto always keeps on leaving money for us from time to time. In which basically they actually just be blinking. He goes, does he? And Ino asks, does he buy anything? Which Ayame says no. And basically, he told us last time to bet on him since he said he's going to beat Neji. So we basically placed a large amount of money on him to win. In which, basically, while basically that's going on, everyone, basically the project tell everyone to leave their area, as I say to Kurama, go, hey Kurama, I think I got a technique because of Fenrir. As basically, I kind of basically, show him what I was thinking of as Kurama smirks, goes, oh, the Hyuga's gonna lose. Like, yeah, I know. As basically, Fenrir is basically with Kurama, well, not in the seal, but outside the gate, just looking at it, at the image, and he smirks, he goes, like I basically said to myself already, interesting person, potential, too. Huh. How though is gonna work so well? Seems too oddly Pacific. As when I basically, after that, the image is there, and disappears, I basically then will look at Neji. Hold up. Alright, so, as I said, I look at Neji. As the proctor's basically, in between both me and Neji, as Neji's looking at me, as Neji says, I'm surprised it's even shown. Does not matter. I'm fated to win. Ever since basically, I became your opponent, you would lose to me. As I just sigh and I just say, fate does not matter at the moment. Because we decide our own fate. And, after all, I'm basically am here to basically, to defeat you, prove a point, and basically take you down for, what you tried to do to Hinata. As Neji just, gets angry, goes like, not like, he goes, so, you were basically doing this for her? I just look at him and goes, I already said my reasonings, but if you're thinking it because of another reason, no. Just no. As Neji looks at me strangely, he goes, what do you think I am thinking? And I literally look at him and goes, you probably think I have some sort of crush on her, right? Which he basically doesn't say nothing, as in he looks at me curiously. I'm like, I just really say to him, that's not the reason why I'm doing this. One, I don't like the way how people, treated like that. Or would be with people like they were in Wave. 2, my pass. And 3, it just rubs me the wrong way basically when family tries to kill one another. But there are certain exceptions. As Neji just scowls at me, he goes like, does not matter what you think. You are fated to lose. As I just shrug and just say to him, wherever you see, fate boy. He goes, wait, fate boy? Oh. You're a boy that believes in fate way too much that lets it guide you. Believing in fate is good, but as I just shrug and saying, for someone like you, it's a crutch. As this gets Neji angry, as the proctor thinks to himself, is this kid just has a death wish? Whatever, So, everyone's basically waiting for the fight to happen. 2 people that are basically will watch the fight and judge us, basically in our abilities, basically will say, that kid basically survived this long, I'm surprised. As the other one goes, yeah, but he's not going to win this. This is a bad matchup. As then Kiva goes, that's what I thought too. As they basically look at Kiva, and one of them look at him, with a curious look, he goes, and he sighs, goes, Naruto ain't the same no more. And besides, I don't know how he's going to defeat Neji, but I have a feeling he's not going to basically give it easy time for him. As basically Hinata is looking at the stadium with worry. Wait, give me a minute. Okay, as I said, with worry and concern, as then basically with the Hyugas, basically Hanabi's, looking at Hisashi, and saying, Father, as basically Hisashi says, watch Hanabi, as Neji fights someone that we have basically never seen fought before. Which just basically gives her curious, and she goes, but are you going to say it's basically Neji will win? basically, as Hisashi says, he is a prodigy, yes, of the Hyuga clan. But as Uzumaki Naruto's track record has been recently, I don't know basically if our clan's technique will basically defeat him. So watch and see basically as basically two ninjas of the leaf fight, and pay close attention as she nods. So, as basically the clan elders basically just scoffing at basically, Hisashi's words, and yeah. Give me a minute, real quick. My dad's calling me. Okay, well, so, yeah. So that's the fight. So basically, right when the process says begin, Neji will basically run basically towards me, and basically, as I basically get into a fighting stance, as I'm thinking to myself, I gotta let this basically fight play out, get basically a good read on his strengths. Easy said than done. And so basically, when Neji's basically strikes with basically one of the Jukin strikes, I basically send lightning chakra into basically my body, and to increase my reaction time, because I block basically a Jukin strike, and basically dodge another one, basically as Neji's trying to increase the speed with chakras, and I'm doing so, with mine, basically reaction time, increasing it. As I'm just looking at Neji and smirking, I'm like, I say to him, so, is that all you got? You got any jutsus on hand? As Neji's like, I do not need them to defeat someone like you. As basically, I kind of block it, block a nerve strike as one of them does, as he does like a quick burst of chakra into his basically arm. As it hits one of my tenketsus, but it's only my shoulder. As I do once in pain as he smirks, and then I'm like thinking to myself, enough defending, let's go on attacking. Go on the attack. As all of a sudden, basically what he sees is this like a basically burst of basically chakra basically in my body, as it's like electricity. As all of a sudden, basically he gets punched in the face and flying. I'm like, your Jukin strikes are just like pokes. Probably good for basically pressure points when someone basically needs to get their, pain away or stiffness out of them. Could help, As Neji's like, basically lands on his feet, look at me, scowling, he goes, are you saying basically the Hyuga clan's basically taijutsu style could be so solely for that? I'm like, no, your basically techniques are good, the Jukin's good, but the fact is, there's a lot more to it than just what basically it's made for. Unfortunately, the Hyuga clan basically likes to stay in tradition, which makes it basically so predictable. Kind of annoying. Which Neji gets, scowls. I'm like, seriously, has there been any new innovations in your clan at all? Like, really? Like, the only reason why your clan is probably strong is just because, one, your taijutsu style, two, your eyes, or dojutsu, and three, the numbers of your clan. Overall, that's all you guys got besides basically your influence and money. As Neji's getting angry, as I'm just like, to prove a point, as then all of a sudden, basically lightning's coming, off of me and it's blue. I'm like, I just look at him and just say, well, yeah. As lightning comes off me, I will say this. I'll prove basically your Jukin and basically your entire fate is all basically wrong. As in a blink of an eye, basically because of lightning, basically I'm in front of Neji and basically knee him in the gut as electricity basically sending through his body and outwards of it, and he gets him flying as I'm basically right behind him, kick him in the back, and basically suddenly, send the chakra into my hand, making claws as veins basically there, and I just slash at Neji, and there's basically like slash marks on his back. As when Neji looks, I just basically am looking at him with a serious, face. I'm like, seriously, you're strong, and yet basically you're so pathetically weak. I really am basically kind of bored already. As I deactivate basically Godspeed, I basically make my fingernails go back to normal. Which Neji's just looking at me and goes, How? How are you able to do that? You didn't need no hand signs for that jutsu. I'm like, one of the many things basically about me that changed recently. So, I'm gonna make this very simple. I'll basically use a limited number of jutsus. Let's say C to B rank ones. Maybe. I haven't basically used hand signs in a while, due to me getting so used to doing naturally without it. As in the cage booth, Orochimaru's there and he's, watching everything. As he's basically been mildly impressed. And basically, assuming as basically Kage, he goes, basically Hokage. Well, basically Lord Hiruzen. Is it true that this ninja can use no hand signs for jutsus? Which Hiruzen says, yes. My ninja here basically woke up to this weird development after something that has happened to him. An accident, I believe. He does not remember what happened. All he knows is he woke up and he could do hand signs, basically, and then use no hand signs, and some other, basically, weird phenomena that have happened to him. But overall, he's perfectly fine. As in, he basically, as soon as he goes, I know what you are thinking, Orochimaru, but I will not let you get this boy. I'll have to die, though, but I know he'll be safe. As back into the fight, as Neji just glaring at me, he goes, so? Which, I'm just kind of just sighing again, like, you don't get it. What can I expect for someone who basically has their head so up far, fates, well, you get the picture. As his basically, eyes have basically anger and fury in them. As basically I just start doing hand signs as I go, water style, water dragon jutsu! As then all of a sudden the moisture in the air turns into a dragon. And basically as it launches towards Neji, as Neji uses Keiten, basically one of their, basically the jutsus or techniques called rotation. As when basically the water hits the spear of basically chakra, Neji kind of does not notice, but I basically still have the water basically jutsu activated, and I basically am running on that water, on the water dragon, and basically while the water dragon's still hitting the basic rotation, I jump off it, deactivate the jutsu. Neji stops doing rotation and he looks up. I mean, not up. He looks around. He activates the Byakugan and he basically sees up. As then I throw down basically multiple kunais and shurikens. As then I basically do the hand signs. I go cage kunai bunchin no jutsu and shuriken no bunchin no jutsu. As 3 kunais and 3 shurikens turns into about maybe 60. As Neji's eyes widen and basically just use substitute with basically a log. As that log gets basically destroyed. As they land basically in the area where all basically the kunais and shurikens are, as multiple puffs of smoke happen. As I just sigh and just chakra strings on the kunai and shurikens that I threw basically come back into my hand. And basically I put them back in my pouch. I'm like, nice dodge. Nice substitution, too. As Neji's just glaring, he goes how did you? He goes, kept the water dragon jutsu activated and ran on the water. Nice tactic, though, to get above you. As Neji's just scowling, and basically he says, you're my field of divination, basically. As I'm thinking to myself, here we go. As all of a sudden, when Neji basically, does about to do the 64 palms, as I basically just smirk, as he's wondering why. As that's when it happens, all of a sudden, basically, everyone, he sees some basically weird glow on my basically shoulder, and then all of a sudden, weird markings appear, and well, right when he's about to basically strike me, he basically jumps back because all of a sudden fire erupts around me. As I just look at him like, I look at him and just like, so, I basically an idea I had to cloak myself in fire at the last minute. As he just scowls again, he goes, so you stopped basically my technique. As then he's thinking, smart. Thought this loser would be easy to defeat. As the Hugos are just scowling because of one, I basically, show Neji can do one of the main family's techniques along with another one. And Hisashi is basically proud of his nephew and thinking basically his brother would have been better suited for the clan. But he's also amazed that I was able to make the technique stop, and then along with Neji basically, jump back. As basically he asks, what type of energy is that? It's not chakra. He goes, it's nature energy. I'm basically kind of using the nature energy around me. So, it's when you have a summon, there's basically called Sage, like the Toe Sage, Jiraiya. Yeah, that's not just a title. Sages can use the natural energy of basically nature around them. And basically increases basically their jutsus and strength and basically allows them to not use much of their chakra reserves. Me, though, due to certain events, got basically this mark on me that was modified due to my unique circumstances, and it allows me to naturally absorb nature energy around me. And when I activate it, I'm able to do basically only one, basically, let's just say, nature type, fire. But, as I deactivate it, goes, I don't really need much just to defeat you. After all, I know how to basically make your best defense into your, greatest defeat. Which Neji just scowling was like, really? How? It was, basically can make it easy for you. He's like, huh? Well, you, as in basically all of a sudden went through hand signs very quickly. As in I say, as I do basically, let's say again, water style. Water Dragon Jutsu! As basically Neji's eyes widen because of the amount of chakra I'm basically pouring into basically this jutsu as the water that basically was dispersed combines with the moisture in the air. All of a sudden, it's not basically, it's one big giant dragon. As then I basically, basically do with one hand sign, it goes, water style, water hydra jutsu! As with the water dragon that was big and massive, now it's multiple heads. As Neji basically does Kaiten, as the dragon basically launches itself at Neji. As then, while basically this is going on, I basically thinking, I think, now! As in, why is it very simple? Everyone starts hearing basically howl the wind. As Neji can't even hear it, he's thinking, what the? As the wind's picking up around me, as everyone starts seeing basically a wolf's head basically appear. As I say, wind style! Howl of Fenrir! And basically the jutsu launch as I basically stop with the water hydra. As the wind Fenrir head basically goes towards the Kaiten. Basically, rotation basically. And it starts spinning around it while Neji's basically decreasing, was about to decrease it. He sees the attack. He's basically thinking he has to basically, keep this up even though he'll run out of chakra soon. And, to his surprise and everyone else's, the attack is going around the rotation, following it. As they say, just spitting upwards. As I'm basically, thinking to myself, I should tell him. And at least the Hyugas that made the best defenses, the worst, basically. Well, hold up. Okay, as I was saying, their best defense is my best offense. As that's when basically when the Fenrir Howl basically Jutsu goes up in the air, and then she stops and he's thinking, Heh, I deflected it. You'll lose now. As I say, he just sees me smirking as I go, oh, really now? He goes, huh? As he goes, the thing about this jutsu, well, is basically was supposed to go with your rotation. Which he goes, wait, what is that? He goes, and then it basically uses that rotation that was going around, say your basically your rotations or Kaiten, and gets the momentum to speed up as it follows all that rotation up to the point where it can be released, and well, it gets stronger as it's also you could say a helmet attack on you, which is like, well, he goes, it follows basically the chakra for the target with the increase of power. So no matter where you go, it'll follow. As long as I supply chakra to it, at least. In which Neji's eyes widen as then he hears the howl. As everyone's in shock as basically it's coming down. As Neji's about, try to move or use substitute, but he's too tired. And that's when basically he looks up, he sees the jaws of the technique just then hit him. And a whole bunch of wind pressure and smoke appears. And basically he's covering everyone including me, and that's when I make a shadow clone to make a hole. Basically behind me. For Shikamaru and Tamari. As it basically appears right in front of basically Neji. And poofs. So when the wind, not the wind, so basically when all the basically smoke and debris is clearing, I just sigh, just make, do not Gale Force Wall, but great breakthrough and basically get rid of all the dust. As everyone is shocked to see Neji on the ground, still conscious, barely, but bleeding a lot. As I go up to him like, so, how's that for fate? Saying you will win. He goes like, how? He goes, well, thing is, I ain't basically a failure. Failure. Okay, I'm having problems again. I ain't a failure, basically. So, if I basically can win this, so can you in the future. Besides, the worst technique I ever had was my clone jutsu. But I kept at it. So, like I said, if someone like me can do this, so can you. Because you're a prodigy, everyone says. See ya. As I walk away from him as I am announced the winner by the proctor, and the proctor was telling Neji about basically, even a caged bird will basically be free someday. Everyone is shocked that I won. Well, and Ino basically is like, wow. Which Sakura was like, yeah, he's something. Hinata's basically, happy, while basically the other proctors are like, he won. I should have betted on him. Then everyone just smirks. He goes, yeah, Ruka betted a lot of money on him along with Tucci and Ayame. Which basically is like, who else? Enko? Which the proctor basically is like sighing. He's like, so what do you think? Basically, they would say this. I basically forced my opponent to get angry and basically lose focus. Make some of his best techniques basically even useless and use one for my own victory. And basically, I had a strategy when I came in. They basically say Chunin or Takabetsu Jonin. Which basically just shrugs, goes, we'll make a suggestion, but because of how good it was, and that we see the qualities of it, but he does need the experience of leading the team, though. So recommendation, Takabetsu Jonin, but, prefer to be make him Chunin at least. Due to his basically jutsus and basically skills that he's shown, though, he basically could be Takabetsu Jonin. Which basically the reporter will nod and put that down. As everyone is shocked and Garo is just thinking, mother, this one's strong. And basically Garo here is just saying like, yes, give me his blood, basically. And that's what he always says, mother wants your blood, all that. So, yeah, everyone's in shock. Hiruzen has a proud smile, and Orochimaru is basically intrigued by the new jutsu. And anyways, though, I gotta get some sleep, guys, though. I said I was gonna make 4 videos today, but I do need some sleep. So, yeah. Have a nice day, everyone. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.